What's up, gang? It is currently, what, like 6 o'clock on this fine Sunday evening, and we have a lot to go over. Let's see. I say we start with GameStop, because that's everyone's favorite. But, in this video, we're going to be looking at GameStop, and I'm going to show you guys SPY and, like, a few other tickers, solely for the reason of, you know, we need to have a general idea of broad market sentiment, because that ultimately will play an integral role in how GameStop moves. So with that being said, let's dive in. If you caught the last video, I believe I filmed that right after we had this development right here, right? This was last Friday, the 28th. And since then, we had this upswing and this downswing. And so interestingly enough, what I think is happening right now is like exactly what I prophesizing maybe isn't the right word, but let me find the tweet I made. As soon as I saw the first indication of this being a possibility, that became what I assumed would happen. And since then, you know, there we go. Right, I was anticipating this type of movement. And so now that you understand that, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you engage with me, you know this by now. But now we need to figure out where we are, you know, within it. So first of all, before we dive into this, there's another thing. I think if I go to, did I put it in here? This is my Discord, by the way. On the topic of this, also, again, I hate pushing this. I hate being like, buy my Discord. I'll link it in the description. I had a few people join from like the last video I made, and you know, God bless, they've been making money. So just putting it out there. Anyways, let's see. Oh yeah, I put this out of my Discord. This is what the perceived action I had, and this was, I believe this was like Tuesday or Wednesday. We had this projection. I drew that out, and then obviously we acted on it. I posted that here, and so far we have this. So yes, this has been right, cool, but what does it mean, right? What the fuck does this mean? And so we're gonna be focusing on the right side ending diagonal. This would be an ending diagonal to the downside, right? So to visualize this first and get this down in your head. And then we'll cross over back to the chart. So right, you remember this? The beginning. So this would be your wave 4, and then finally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 5. So 4 up, right? 4 right there. That's that move. And then from then so 4 break down ABC into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now we dig deeper, right? So if this is ABC, A and C should be equal in length, right? Simple Elliott wave subdivision. A, B, C equals 1 to 1 of A. Boom. Okay. So we see that, and then next we would expect 3 moves to the upside, making a lower high relative to the wave 4. And again, that's exactly what we got. My level was 116.6. The highest we took was 116.65. I was off by 5 cents. Pretty fucking close. But anyways, I need to show you how I calculated that fib level. And I don't even know if the 15-minute will do it justice, because we had the way the candle moved, fuck, do I have to on-demand it? That sucks. But I do want to show you how this worked. February, okay, I can't. Let's go to Wednesday. Perfect, okay. And we'll go to a 5-minute. And so the reason I drew the fib like this is because ABC, for ending diagonal, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be broken into 3-leg subdivisions, ABC, versus, again, I'll go back to this. The subdivision looks like this, whereas with typical Elliott wave impulses, you probably already know this, but Elliott wave impulse, just so you have an idea of the subdivision, assuming you don't know this, right, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 up, 3 down, 5 up, 3 down, 5 up. This is an impulse, and it's not a diagonal because the wave 4 does not come into the territory of the wave 1. But now, I mean, yeah, you just need to know that basic stuff. But anyways, with that being said, the only logical way you can really draw out the ratios in this instance, because for one, from the thought process is ending at a diagonal, we're going to test up pretty high again. And most common ratios being the 0.618 and 786. So 0.618 at 107 and 786 at 112. So those are your like baseline targets for rejection, but then you need to look into the subdivision of the legs to get more precise targets. So sure, we have those. Anything above between 107 and 114 are baseline targets. And then we'll dig deeper. The only subdivision that makes sense is if you look at this move as A, B, and C. And the reasoning for this is because, so we'll clear that off and I'll show you the drawing. So we'll go to the fib extensions from the low of the wave 2 to the high of A to the low of B. and then we would expect that A equals C at, or C equals A at 1 to 1. And lo and behold, boom. Boom. But here we go. Now let's go deeper. So we had that tick. And sure, that's a short signal in itself, but my strategy is, and I mean, again, I am a volatility trader. I don't trade my shares. I sell calls against them. Hate me if you want. The bills aren't going to pay themselves. So we saw this tick at my level. I thought, great. This is exactly what we're looking for. But when that happened, okay, I'm going to turn off on demand now. But when that happens, you need to be aware of the subdivision. And that being said, right, we're going to have 5 leg, the subdivision for a zigzag. Remember, largest degree, it's going to go ABC down. But the subdivision of ABC is A is going to be 5, B is going to be 3, and C is going to be 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into A, 3 into B or B, which we'll go over in a second, and then another 5 down into C to make the wave 3 of the ending diagonal, which would put us down here. Then we'll have 4 and 5, and that's when we start to move. And for one, it actually is really cool to see it play out, pretty much as it was hypothesized. But back to this. Move down, and we're looking for a wave 2 up. But it's imperative that the upswing makes a lower high relative to the first run up. And this ticked 116.65. The recovery ticked 116.47. Lower high. As soon as it couldn't break above this, that was like the confirmation we were looking for that, okay, this bitch is about to dump. And, naturally I acted on it. But let's draw at target, see where we go next. 1, 2, 3 down to 1,618. Perfect. So seeing that, I thought, okay, we have 1, 2, 3. We'll have, obviously, 4 and 5. And so from there, we're almost done with the A leg. So we had 3, and if this is 4, right? A, B, C into 4. A, B, C. A and C should be equal to each other. There should be some sort of Fibonacci relationship. And so to check that, we'll measure A to B, and C is, voila, perfect. Again, there you go, 1 to 1. That's your wave 4 high. And so if you're trading this, you'll look for this tick, enter at the 1 to 1, stop out above it. But anyways, then finally, to complete that leg down. For one, we had this gap at 97.4, which I kept talking about. I said we are going to fill this without a doubt. And we did in the after hours session. But let's see how the targets came together, to watch that leg complete. And we'll draw it out, draw the targets, and voila. 618 and 786, and we terminated right around there while we filled this gap. And then boom, right? That makes your A leg down. And then from there, this is where it gets interesting. So we have a few possibilities from here, assuming this view of the diagonal is right. And I will say this, if the view of the diagonal is wrong, and we are truly impulsive from here, we'll break above this 119 level. So again, that still remains the big level to watch. If we break above that, then we're not going down anymore. And if we don't, we need to be open to this perspective that I'm going over now. So a few possibilities. For one, we can look at this as, so we had A, then we'd expect A, B, C into B. And looking at this, and I played this on, I think this was Thursday? This was Thursday, yeah. So we had A up, B and C should be 1 to 1. We did go past, but once you pass the 1 to 1, it just becomes a process of elimination to see, what's it going to tick. And rejects the 1382. I think I opened calls somewhere in this area. Breaks below the 1 to 1. That's confirmation it's going to keep going down. And then, but anyways, you have that out. You understand that. But here's where it gets interesting. So we can look at this a few ways. This could either be the top of the B, or this could just be the A leg of A, B, C before we continue the C leg, before we finish this, right? So we're either here or we're here, is what I'm saying. And looking at this, see, this would throw off a lot of new Elliott wave traders because people aren't looking for potential flats. They're only going to look for regular corrections or simple corrections like zigzags. And fuck, this is like hurting my head explaining it. Anyways. So what we need to do from here, if this is going to keep breaking down, it is set up to do so. But if we look at this as wave 1 and wave 2, right, we'll get our ratios again, and we'd expect to make a lower high. That's not drawn correctly, but we'd expect a lower high testing above the 0.5 retrace. And we're pretty close. I have, I'll explain these levels in a second, but we would expect to make a lower high under this, what's it called? It's supposed to be wave high. Now, what I'm looking at is a potential expanding or running flat, which we could see take place tomorrow. And this will likely depend on how the overall market opens. And so first, what we're going to do is we're going to test the possibilities for a flat correction where we'd expect a 1, 2, 3, 6 tick, anything below 1 to 1. And because this did go lower than the 1 to 1 level, borderline the 1, 2, 3, 6 at 94.6, we ticked 95.15, so about 50 cents off. That means we need to be open to the idea of a running or an expanding flat. And so if it is a running flat, we will reject, this 105 level, and if it's an expanding, we'll reject anywhere above it. 105, 107.3, 108.8, or 111.15. But now let's dig even deeper, right? So again, looking at this as a potential flat, the subdivision for flat correction is right, you'll have ABC, but within the ABC, you'll have 1, 2, 3 into A, 1, 2, 3 into B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into C. And so again, I showed you the A. I haven't, this part doesn't really matter. However you want to subdivide this, you could look at this as an expanding. So you'll have A, B, C, and then from there you'd expect 1 to 1. And again, borderline right there. So with that in mind, we need to consider the potential of a 5 legs to complete the flat. So you have 1, 2, and then 3 takes the 1, 2, 3, 6. 4 didn't come below the low of the 4. So finally, assuming it doesn't make a new low tomorrow morning in pre-market, but these targets I already have them drawn out. Then we'd expect this final fifth leg to terminate between 106.9 and 108.4, which, there's confluence with the 236 and 382 largely refib to complete this expanding flat. So, TLDR for everything I just said, I expect it to reject one of these regions if it doesn't just dump tomorrow at open. And then finally, looking at how this leg will complete down. So 1, 2, A, ABC, or B. Let's just assume that we don't make a lower, or we don't break above this B leg high tomorrow. If we don't break above that, then that, I still expect us to come down to this level, because 85.26 is where 3 equals 1, and 87.3 is where C will equal A, assuming we don't make a new high, or a higher high relative to about 107. And let's say we do come up to, what level was I talking about? I don't know, like 107. If we do that, then that would adjust downside targets to, then the new target would be about, if it comes up to 110, 108, okay, yeah. If it comes up to 110, then the new downside target would be 90. But again, this is kind of pointless. Trading is reactionary. You can draw forecasts, but if it doesn't do what the forecast says it's going to do, it's like, what was the point of it? Fuck, I need to redraw this. So put this back there. But yeah, you have a general idea of what I think is going to happen with GameStop now. Above 116, this view is invalidated, but, I expect us to come down to here, kind of make this triangle wedge formation that I've been talking about. But yeah, you get that now. Quickly, let's hop over to SPY, because my recording software is about to crap out on me. I've been doing this for too long. This is really interesting, and I'm going to go back to the Discord again because I visualized the fractal in there. In short, I believe this is what we're looking at. A fractal, and I mean, this visualization, does it justice. You can kind of see what I'm looking at. But with that being said, let's go deeper, and let's see how we can use, broad market analysis tying in with everything else. So originally what I was looking at, I don't have it labeled, but I was looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. But the issue is that view is invalidated because the other day we broke above this wave 1 low. So instead, this whole leg down I'm looking at as a wave 1 biker gang, and this would be a wave 2 up. So with that being said, I think we're about to dump very, very hard. The broad market is. And, if we just look at it basically, like from a super basic point of view, and if you want, you can pause the video and check my subdivisions. It checks out. This was like a bitch to do, but, everyone, you gotta have this. I mean, you don't. You get what I'm saying. So with SPY, what I would expect is, or you know what, let me go to ES, because this is trading now. And it's not looking great. Let's look at it like this. So pull up a 4 hour from the high. If we're looking at 1 down, the subdivision would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, A, B, C, and 2. If we're looking at it that way, again, we'll pull up our large degree fibs and we'll look for some sort of signal that tells us look out. And okay, that's huge right there. That's a very, 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 very bearish reversal. And so that sets us up for, this crazy leg down that I'm talking about. But again, with this, you kind of just need to see, you can like visualize the fractal though. Like this makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And if you put it into wave perspective, right, we're looking at 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and the same thing, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it really breaks down, right? So same exact thing, just bigger scale. And that's why I think, oh God, watch out. And if I pull fibs here again, oops. If I pull fibs here again, let's look for similar relationships. And again, right, your 618 tick again. It didn't go higher. So yikes! I say ES under 4440 is like, oh God, bro, it's gonna get really ugly. And okay, but you have that. Let's go back to SPY because I know more people watch SPY than micro E-minis. But if you do watch E-minis, all the power to you. Oh, actually, I already have the targets drawn in. But yeah. If it breaks down, like really, really breaks down, it'll probably come down and test this 421 level, making some sort of double bottom here, recover, and then it dumps. Then it just fucking dumps. But again, that's just foreshadowing. So with that being said, that plays into this whole GameStop analysis where we can expect some sort of rebound to the upside, but it would likely be short-lived, and if this subdivision's right, I have the A here, B here, and but the thing is, if I go back to ES and it made a newer low, then those fibs are pointless. Yeah, see, like it kept breaking down. So again, like just need to see, that's the forecast. If it breaks above this 4580 level ES, then again, it just becomes a process of elimination. This is bearish until it breaks the previous high, and if it can't do that, I'd watch out. I would not be buying into long-term equities, would not be buying into index funds. Again, if it can't make a higher high, and then watch out. The next leg down will be brutal. But, I mean, yeah, I think I covered about everything. My camera's about to stop recording, so that actually worked out perfectly. I'll be tweeting, but I hope you guys got something out of that. You have a general idea of where my head's at. I laid out the important levels. Tweet at me if you have any questions. Maybe I'll see you in the Discord. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.